pin the message.
Hey, buddies, we're live.
Good day.
All right. Yeah, that's why I joined in at 9:30. Can I get a quick level check on you guys' mics real quick? Make sure we can hear you good.
All right, I'm just gonna keep talking until we figure out how loud this mic is.
All right. Don't worry, I can just boost you.
All right, how does that sound?
1 second, let me... Oh, I got you cranked all the way up. Get just a little bit louder will be good. Just a
All right,
skosh.
so like
There we go,
if I just
perfect.
keep talking, that's fine.
Perfect.
Right.
What about you, Borker?
I don't
Perfect.
know what. Okay.
Nailed
Trying to
it.
think of what to talk about to fill the time. I'm glad you did it quick.
Yeah. Well, I can see the mic levels and everything, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for those that didn't see the announcement. I have the great OP Squid, that's now part of the media team, as well as, okay, is it Comrade Borker or Commander Bonkers now? Which one is it, buddy?
Comrade Borker is the government name.
Okay. We
Commander
got,
Bonkers is what they call me on the streets.
and Borker as well is a new part of media. So we ended up filling it out, getting me, like Yinzer said, some help, and I could not ask for better help. You guys are great, and I'm definitely glad you guys are going to be bailing me out and saving me.
Thanks.
Oh, I appreciate you, Lions.
For those that aren't aware, I was sick all last week. I'm getting over it, and it just so happens Squid is coming down with something as well. So you'll have to bear with us. All right.
Media booth was too small.
Well, to start things off, we are going to have the full management reveal. So we can go ahead and hop into that now. It might be a little bit hard to read. Let me see here. See if I can zoom it in any. There we go. Haha! I'm not completely incompetent. There we go. All right. Any preference on which division we start with, guys, or do you just want to start at the Metro and work our way down?
Yeah, we can just go top to bottom, starting with the Atlantic there. Pretty good management team, by the way.
Yeah, Buffalo, man. They won the cup last season.
Yeah, so of course there are some key pieces from that team returning. All three players on that cup-winning team, JT Medevus and Wilksey. And although two of the players they're bringing back are forwards, you can just see how that defensive structure is going to be very strong, with JT being a great defenseman and Medevus and Wilksey both being very strong two-way forwards, as well as defense, as we saw from Wilksey in the final when needed.
Mantival actually just came back from winning the Selkie. Teaming up with them now. Solid decor. Good two-way forward. Looks to repeat. Win it back.
Oh, sorry about that. I just had a coughing attack.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, so Lions, any thoughts on this Buffalo team to offer up?
Well, I mean, have we ever had a management team repeat, like back-to-back?
That's a good question. I don't think it's rare enough for management teams to run it back consistently, winning or not. So I don't think so. Not in recent memory, at least.
Yeah, well, I know Buffalo, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row, or 2 seasons in a row, and then they made it a third, and the third time they made it, they ended up winning the cup. So JT Medevus, they definitely know what it takes to get like right to the doorstep of the finals, and then they took that extra step and ended up winning it last season. So, man, if you could bet money, I would probably put some money on Buffalo making either at least the Eastern Conference Finals or making it to the Stanley Cup Finals again. Whatever they're doing over there, new management, current management. If you've never had a deep playoff run, you might want to take a look and watch what JT and Metavis do throughout the season. Might be able to learn some things.
Yeah, out of any of the teams, I would think these are some of the guys that you can be most sure of having a plan going into the draft, no matter where they end up on this upcoming draft lottery.
Oh, for sure. Well, that and they've been around for a while too. So even the people they haven't had on their teams, they've played against like basically everybody. So they definitely have deep, intimate knowledge of the player base.
No doubt. And is that all for Buffalo? Or are we moving on from there?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and move on to Detroit with Fabry, Super Mario, and Rocky Dangles. That's a real solid management team right there.
Yeah, and I would tee up Squid here if you would like to offer some input. You have some familiarity with this management team, don't you, from last season?
Yep, they're running it back with Fabry and Mario taking Rocky on instead of Go Jets Go. Rocky led the team last season in points, I believe, with like 50 in like 15 games or something like that. Yeah, they're just going to be really solid. Right into a sacked Buffalo squad in the first round. Couldn't make it past them, but maybe a better matchup this season can take them farther.
Well, Rocky Dangles made the All-Star game last season too, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, pretty sure.
So.
Yeah.
He's a really solid winger.
Yeah, you can't say enough about Rocky. I think my days might be running into each other. The cold medicine might be kind of. I want to say he helped with one of the broadcasts. I can't remember. I don't remember if I'm thinking of the All-Star game or if he actually ended up helping out on one of them. I apologize, Rocky. But yeah, Fabry, weren't they the Canadians last season?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Anything you have on them, Mr. Bonkers?
Not a lot. Just that all three of those guys have played against a decent amount, and as you guys have mentioned, they're solid players. That's going to be a theme that's pretty much throughout most all these management teams. It's a good crop this season for the first season on the new game. A lot of good teams, and it's a great start here with JT, Metavis, Wilksy, and then Fabry, Super Mario, and Rocky Dangles. Both great teams.
Oh, yeah. We all good to go ahead and move on to Montreal?
Yep.
All right. With Montreal, we have Angelic Llama, Oh My God, It's Gaines, and the Conn Smythe runner-up, Ronald, making up the Montreal management. Now, one thing I found interesting, I mentioned before that Buffalo had made the Eastern Conference Finals 2 seasons in a row prior to winning the Cup this season. And the team, or the management team that they ran into each of those 2 seasons that they ended up not making the finals, they ran into Llama and Gaines team. They were normally the Rangers, and instead of them being in different divisions, this time it's very interesting. They are in the same division. So just looking at this whole division, it's going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah, it doesn't take a ton of experience, I think, to see that this is going to be a bloodbath between Montreal and Buffalo for the top seed in that division. Not to count out any of the other guys here, because we have already mentioned a couple of good teams, and there are more coming up in this division. But these are guys that have reputation in the league, they have notoriety, they have history, and they have hardware to show for it. Yet another great management team so far. And Ronald, what an addition for Llama and Gaines. Guy who's won 2 straight cups, and he's looking to add a third and give Llama and Gaines their first.
Absolutely. They also, interesting fact about Buffalo and Montreal, all 6 of those players were actually, I'm not sure if Wilksy was, but
He
we're
was
all
not.
on the Mem Cup winning team for LG this season.
Ooh.
Now they're split up and facing each other.
Yeah, and we might have. Do we have any other Saginaw players that will be coming up here? We do. We have a couple, at least one, further down on the list. Yeah, Saginaw's showing out.
So this is why I have you guys. You guys know everything. All right. Are we good to move on to Toronto? Any final things? One last thing about Montreal, the Rangers. I think I might have touched on it, but they made 2 consecutive Stanley Cup Finals. They lost to LA in season 9, and then they lost to Vegas in season 10. And then they did, Lama and Gaines both ended up taking a break from management during the shortened season 11. So definitely appreciate the new follows as well. Now we can move on to Toronto. Sorry about that, guys. Toronto management. The owner is Bobby Bobette. GM is Alapiro, and the AGM is Silent Soldier. Now, I played with Bobby last season with Philadelphia. We ended up making it to the second round, and unfortunately, we ran into Buffalo, and Buffalo did to us what they did to everybody else, and that was a 4-2 exit.
All right, so with this Toronto team here, looking at Bobby Bobette, as you kind of started referring to, Lions, he's a very strong player, will be one of the top players on any team he's on. We ran into him on the Penguins when he was with New York on one of their consecutive Cup final runs, and he's very hard to stop. One of the guys where the puck just kind of gravitates to him. He moves through the ice, moves through the slot, and keeps the puck on his stick. Very hard to stop. And Alapiro and Silent Soldier are 2 guys who are, again, fill out another great management team. Silent Soldier, very high point scoring seasons in the past with Arizona, and Alapiro with an all-star pedigree.
Yeah, both really good players, all 3 of them. Then they're looking to put it up against 2 of the top, probably 2 of the top favorites for the Cup this season. Matched up against them, see what they do.
All right. We can go ahead and move on to Tampa now. With Tampa Bay Lightning, the owner we have is Killamilla01, GM Biscotti, and AGM Storzy93. Now, I'm not too familiar with these 3 particular players. My apologies to Tampa Bay management. I don't know everybody yet, but I'm definitely getting there.
And I think I'm in the same boat here with these 3. Believe Squid was saying that Killamilla has played a couple of games with, was it St. Louis last season?
Yeah.
And apart from that, this management team hasn't had a lot of history in 6HL. I guess no better time to get it going than in this division to maybe start making a name for themselves. But yeah, don't have a lot to offer on these 3. We'll see what they can show us throughout the season.
Absolutely. And if they win it all, it'd be a great underdog story.
Oh,
No
yeah.
doubt.
Coming out of nowhere. Just caught myself. Just coming out of nowhere, man. Definitely, we'll keep an eye on you, Tampa Bay. All right. And then with Florida, we have Rydog, the great goalie, Zerky, I believe, who has a couple of cups now, and King Manolis as the EGM. If any of you guys want to reach out to King Manolis and yell at him or curse at him, he's the one that actually got me into the 6HL. So any complaints, anything like that, you are more than free to go ahead and direct towards King Manolis. He's the one you have to thank for having to listen to me on a multiple day basis.
That is a fun fact. Was not aware of that. I'll have to hit him up. So for Florida here, Zerk, as you mentioned, has won 2 straight cups. Same boat as Ronald. All-star goalie. He's really come up in the past couple seasons as a standout goalie where before he didn't maybe quite have the same reputation as being very top end. But with 2 straight cups, he's definitely up there. And Rydog, quick fun fact, back when our guy OP Squid and I here were on Boston in season 8. Ronald Six Knees, now known as just Ronald, was on the TC. So it would have been good to have him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, anyway, King Manolis, solid defenseman as well. This is another team that's solidifying their defense and goalie off the bat and building up front through the draft.
Yeah. Anything from you, Mr. Squiddy?
Not really. I don't really got much to add. I think Tom took it away.
Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, I played with Rydog season 10 at Nashville. He's a real good guy. I have full confidence that he will be able to do very well with Florida. He's an affable guy. He's like always around, and he's diligent. So keeping an eye on Florida, man. That whole division is just really, really strong. All right, we can go ahead and move on to the next division, which I believe is the Metro division. Carolina. The new owner this year is Andy's Army, GM Drowns, and AGM Biz What. This team was owned by Clint last season, and they ended up making it to the conference finals. And we'll see if Andy can end up matching that.
Yeah, Andy's making a return to management after being part of Ottawa a couple seasons past, and interested in seeing Bizwat as an AGM here. He's been in the league for quite some time, but has kind of flown under the radar for a while, maybe playing only a couple of games here or there each season. So interested to see what these guys will do across a full season of work. Curious to see what the direction is with this team, because you have... I'm sorry, is Drowns a goalie? Am I correct with that?
I think
believe
he's a defenseman.
Right.
Oh.
And Andy's Army is, of course, a defenseman, and Bizwat is a wing. So pretty even spread across the positions for management. And yeah, curious for how they go in the draft.
Alrighty. And then we have Frisch. He, I want to say, was the AGM last season for Pittsburgh, correct?
That's right. Yeah, he was the AGM with the Ins and I on Pittsburgh last season.
Mm-hmm. Well, now he's taking a step up. I guess he watched how you guys did things, and he's like, all right, I can do better than these guys. Like, I got to be able to do better than Jens and Borker. So he ended up saying, all right, I'm not doing this. I'm going to do it myself, and became owner of the New York Rangers. His GM is Discrisio. I remember him, I don't think it was season 11. I think it was season 10. He was with Calgary. And I just remember he had, if it was season 11, I apologize. But I want to say it was season 10. And I just remember him going on an absolute point tear in the series they ended up losing. I can't remember who it was, but I remember calling his name a bunch. And then you have Rigerian as the AGM.
All right, as you mentioned, got some familiarity with Frisch here. Everybody knows Frisch. Everybody loves him. Multiple-time King Clancy winner. Everyone's favorite media guy, apart from maybe Lions. I don't know, but Frisch is a solid two-way forward. Decretio is a great scorer. He's made the rounds in LG for a long time, and he's started to light up this league as well. Rigerian, again, a big-time LG guy. Not sure if he's playing center or defense this time. Do you guys have any information on that?
I do not.
I'm not sure. I think the last time he was in the league, he switched from left D to left wing. Not sure where he plans on playing this time.
So anywhere and everywhere for Rigerian. He's good at all of them. I know that.
Yep. He was pretty successful in LG for season 41 with Sudbury. He owned there, so he's looking to bring his success back to the 6HL.
Right. And last note for me anyway on these Rangers, maybe the elephant in the room with the team selection here is that Gaines and Lama are managing, but it's not with New York. and it's Frisch instead. So that's kind of a change of pace for the New York franchise here. Let's see what direction Frisch takes him in. If he can hold up to the Stanley Cup final tradition that Gaines and Lama have put them on.
Oh yeah. And I just want everybody to know, whatever I did the owner reveal, I guess I may have worded it to where like Frisch or like pulled rank or stole the Rangers from Lama and Gaines. I promise that's not the case. I guess Frisch ended up taking a little heat I saw in chat, and I just want to disperse those rumors if they are out there. So there we go. All right. And then moving on to Pittsburgh, we have Yinzer, uh, owner of Pittsburgh. His GM is going to be Kaner88. And then AGM Incomparable, who is in the chat. Thank you for joining in, Incomparable. Appreciate you. These guys are, they make the playoffs with Yins like every single year. Like I don't think I've seen him not make the playoffs since I've been in the league.
Yeah, another team that Squid and I both have some familiarity with. Us having both been management with Yins before, me a couple times in a row. And as you said, playoff streak, makes playoffs pretty much every time that I can remember. And bringing Kaner in to solidify a deep pair right off the bat, incomparable. He asked me to mention us being on Saginaw together. That's all I'm going to give him on for that. And he is a solid two-way center. I think a perennial Selke contender, really. And it's a solid blueprint for this Penguins team in the first year.
Did they do the draft reveal? They're just sitting here talking about the ownership groups. I don't understand.
And we got Griffin here offering up his opinion. Quick interview. What's going on, Griff? All right.
Mic check.
Yeah,
Mic check.
You're live.
Hey, did y'all post the draft order?
No, that's
yeah,
going to be
we're,
next, buddy.
Yeah, we're working there. We're just
What's
going through all the
here?
teams.
Oh, my apologies.
It's all good. You're coming up soon enough. All right.
Fair enough. I'll let y'all get on with your show. Sorry.
No problem. Okay, so we can carry on from there.
Yep. Okay. Philadelphia. Last season it was Stone Guy. This year it is Blackened War Cage. GM. His owner. His GM is Yorkul, and his AGM is Archpiece. Now I want to say they had the Winnipeg Jets last season, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, and they did make the playoffs, and I want to say that was Blackened War Cage's and Yorkul's. Might not have been Yorkul's first, but I want to say it was Blackened War Cage was his first time managing, and that's an accomplishment, being able to make the playoffs in your first year.
It was Yorkul's first time managing as well. If I recall. He's been around for a couple seasons now. Once on LA, once on Pittsburgh. And managing now. He originally came in as a center, then switched to a defenseman, and is an all-star now. So congratulations to both the Blackened War Cage and Yorkul. I believe they both made all-star. And bringing in Archpiece, formerly known as Kuzi, high caliber LG center, two-way play style. Could also swing on defense if he needs to. And that's all I have to say for Philadelphia.
All right. Anything from you, Mr. Squid? All right. Next, we have the Washington Capitals. It's going to be owned by Hermes. His GM is Twisted Joker, and his AGM is Pristine Life. Season 9, I ended up having the fortune of playing with Hermes in Chicago. He ended up stepping in and becoming the AGM with some of the turmoil that ended up happening there. And was he with Seattle last season? I can't remember. I know
Was that Hermes?
Yeah. I know
Possibly. I'm not terribly familiar with this group.
Yeah, I know he was in ownership last season. But I'm definitely looking forward to him getting his own team and seeing what he can end up doing with Washington.
Right. Washington, of course, coming off of a somewhat surprising first-round exit last season, with a management group that is coming back this season, but under a different team. So, yeah, don't know a lot about this group. Looking forward to what they have to offer to 6HL.
All right. Next, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets with Tree 33. His GM is going to be Wilksy 93. And we got All-Star Trefison as the AGM. I got to play with him season 10 at Nashville. Really good guy. He's carried me. He had a lion-sized backpack as for me when I was his D partner.
Tree was formerly known as Buffet Pond, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Wanted to make sure I had the name straight. Yeah, so we have two Wilksies here in management. Not on the same team, albeit, but two Wilksies nonetheless. And as you said, Trefison, high-tier defenseman. Wilksy, I believe, can go either D or wing, so there's some versatility there. Also versatility with Buffet Pond or Tree, where I've seen him kind of all over the ice. Mostly defense or net, though. And is there anything else for Columbus?
I do not believe so. Moving on, we have Arizona. Last season was owned by Durs. They ended up making the playoffs. Unfortunately, I believe they played LA in round 1 or round 2. And as we know, LA ended up making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So we have Mad, who was on Carolina. I believe Ghost was... I think he was... I don't think he was. Ghost 48 is the GM, and Gopher Selly is the AGM.
Right, yeah. Mad and Ghost have run a couple teams together in other leagues. Gopher Selly is an AHL tier player from what I'm told by Squid. And we played against Mad last season in the playoffs, got knocked out by him in Carolina. Another good team that's starting off by building up front with some forwards. Ghost, I know, can play goalie. Not sure what he's playing this season.
Yeah, really solid management group there. Gopher Selly, really good player, really good right winger. They actually just won the cup in the revived AXHL this season. Pretty good. Looking to repeat it over in the 6th, though.
Okay, on to Chicago.
Yes, sir. And as I mentioned before, Durs is now the owner of Chicago. They ended up making a playoff run. Floppy Weenus, Durs had let me know, was in the LG, and his previous tag was D. Pittman. So I guess they're both LG guys, and they are both very solid. So with Durs, we have Floppy Weenus and Hammerman. So Durs bringing in some outside talent again this season. He ended up turning that into a playoff push, and I have no reason to doubt that he wouldn't be able to do that again this season.
Yeah, he's importing a couple of interesting names, both in maybe reputation and LG success, and just the names themselves with Floppy Weenus. I'm not so familiar with Hammerman. Yeah.
I am not. Durs said he was also in the LG.
Got it.
All right. Anything to add, Squid?
Nope.
All right. Next, we have the Colorado Avalanche. We have Griff77, the owner. GM is Chaz, and the AGM Big Bear. These guys, basically, they're like JT and Metavis. I mean, this is like an ownership management group that just like knows exactly what they're doing. They play together so well. I know they had some availability issues in the playoffs last season and weren't able to push as far as they wanted to with Nashville. But this will be a regular season, regular off season this year. So I'm definitely keeping my eye on Colorado. I would say they're probably one of the teams I expect to go in the top 3 in their division this season.
But I have to agree with that. This is a group that has been looking to get over the hump for a while as far as winning a cup. They're a perennial playoff team, just looking for that last piece to push them over some of the other top teams in their division and conference.
Yep, you can always expect a deep run by these guys, and they're looking to do it again.
Yep. All right. We can go ahead and move on to Winnipeg. Now, this is another management group that we ended up seeing last season. They were the Washington Capitals last season, and they did finish the regular season in first place. So they ended up getting the President's Trophy, and unfortunately, the President's Trophy curse went when it had another victim last season. I know they as well had some availability issues with the shortened playoffs. We have Moosey owning. Big shout out, Moosey! Nemec, formerly known as Mance. And then we have Alpha X Fallen. I mean, you can't really put a management team together much better than what Moosey, Nemec, and Alpha have going.
That's right. Despite the maybe dubious distinction of how their last season ended up, this is just a trio of exceptional players in any league. And it's no doubt that they're going to be a top contender no matter how their draft goes, what pick they get. They're just going to be a great team. You can trust that.
Absolutely. You got the Norris winner Moosey there, our Ross winner Nemec. You also got Alpha there, who's won multiple Art Rosses, multiple awards before. And they're looking to run it back again.
All right. And then moving on to Minnesota, Akira is again in the ownership of Minnesota this season. They ended up making the conference finals, I think, against LA. They came up a little bit short. Owner is Akira. The GM is Mega Trash. And then somebody was saying who the AGM was earlier. I apologize. I ended up forgetting. And this is another really solid management group. I mean, just looking at this division, it's going to be really tough as well.
Right, Minnesota looking to continue some of their success from last season, now not opposed by LA. And Akira is a good goalie, straight up. Had the pleasure of playing with him a couple seasons ago. He's a joy on the team, in my experience. Joy to have on the team, pardon me. And Mega Trash is kind of a deep cut from 6HL history. He was around way back in the earlier seasons, if I recall. So nice to see him back and managing, no less.
And I've been informed it's Sunny D that is the AGM. My apologies, right. Sunny. All right, we can go ahead and move on to Dallas. I've heard that Dallas is cursed, or bad things happen to Dallas, so we'll see. The owner is Shelf. There was no surprise there. As soon as people saw that Dallas was going to be a team, everybody knew who the owner was going to end up being, and that is Shelf. His GM is going to be Lurkin, which is a great guy. I liked playing defense with him whenever I ended up getting the chance to. And then we got the owner, Live Doggy. I mean, I guess I have to give Dallas whatever draft position that they want in the lottery, right? When it comes down from the owner, you got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. Lurkin, always love his stylish spin moves at any time on the ice. Never a bad time for a spin from Lurkin. For those who know. And Dallas, yeah, they've had kind of a troubled history in the league as far as success goes. I was on their maybe season 8 or 9 along with Biz, who has made quite a name for himself the last couple seasons, and Decretio, and also Shem, and we did not do very well. But this manager group here will look to change that luck around and put together a good season.
Okay. And now, the final division, we have Anaheim. I believe that's Bjorn Figlia, however you end up saying that. He was with Seattle last season. I believe Mashed Potato was with him, his GM. and Swedish 03. I don't think I'm familiar with Swedish, but I know Bjorn and Mashed Potato did pretty all right, considering it was their very first management season. I do know that Bjorn was also pulling double duty. He, Harry, and slipping my tongue or mind. But they are also running all the prospect games. So they're basically managing two teams throughout the entire season, and we're very appreciative of their hard work. And I'm excited to see what they can do with Anaheim this season.
Yeah, I've mostly just heard of what these guys have done from running prospect games. And looking forward to seeing what they can do with Anaheim. And I'm sure if they continue to be the ones who are running some of the prospect games, the many folks who will have signed up and not in the draft will be very appreciative of that as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, we can go ahead and move on to Calgary. We have Zeramone, who I know he owned Season 10 in Colorado. I believe it was also with Keono. I don't know if Freak Psycho's an owner with them in Season 10 Colorado, but they are with Calgary now. So we have Zeramone, it's Freak Psycho as GM, and Keono as the AGM. And that's just going to be an absolutely nasty forward line. You got Zeramone and Q. Just do crazy things, man. I played with Q last season with Philadelphia. Him and Bobby together were they were cracked. They weren't even fair to have on the ice at the same time. And then you add a great two-way center like It's Freak Psycho, and I think Calgary, depending on how deep they make their team, I think they can go anywhere they want to go this season.
Right, talk about having a good forward line built into your management. As you mentioned, Psycho always has been a great two-way center, and he'll be a fantastic anchor for these two more offensively inclined forwards on his wings. As you mentioned, Keono, very skilled with the puck, and Zeramone is coming off of a couple of breakout seasons, both in 6HL and in LG, and is a nice guy. I'm looking forward to him continuing to increase his rep in the league, have some success.
Mm-hmm. All right. We can go ahead and move on to Edmonton now. Edmonton has it was Hermes that owned Edmonton last season, or was with management with them last season. So we have a new owner with them. It's going to be Webby, and he ended up, I want to say he was with the Ducks last season, and they did really well. His GM's going to be Stutzel, and his AGM is Legend is Bear. This is another solid management group, man.
That's right. I believe Bear will be playing defense, and Webby and Suits will be wing and center, respectively. Webby has been growing his skills as a kind of speedy, dangling wing who plays at kind of a breakneck pace, and Stutzel's been successful in the last couple of seasons as a center. I believe he had 100 points on the Islanders a few seasons back.
Holy
and
geez.
As you said, another nice management team and a loaded management crop this season.
Yep. And then we can go ahead and move on to San Jose. I remember Dubveer, I want to say Season 10, was the one that owned Calgary that had Discrecio. Apologize if I'm not saying that name correctly. His GM is going to be P. Marsh, and his AGM is John. So I know how Dub likes to play. He likes to play fast and aggressive. So it's going to be a fun team to watch. I feel like they might be able to put up a bunch of points.
Gonna have to agree with that. Dubveer is yet again another guy who plays at a very fast pace, and there's a good group of those in this management team. What with, say, Ronald, and then going back to just last team, Webby, and a bunch of others that are in that kind of tier. And John, wonder if he's going to be playing wing or D. He's a versatile player, good on either end. That's all I have to say for that.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then Los Angeles. We have new management for Los Angeles. We have Stone Guy, who was the owner of the Philadelphia Flyers last season. Like I said, made it to the second round and lost to the eventual Cup winners, Buffalo with JT and Metavis and Wilksey. So he definitely ended up, like, I don't remember any big trades or anything like that. He ended up making a couple additions through the RA draft. So he had a playoff team that made it to the second round and from the draft basically. So he knows how to scout talent and he knows how to put together a team. So I'm definitely excited to see what Stone Guy can do with Los Angeles out of the West this season. His GM is It's Taken and his AGM is It's Prosy. So it doesn't look like he's going to be needing much defense help.
Definitely. Stone Guy's been at the helm of a couple straight playoff teams, and there's no reason to expect any deviation from that. As you mentioned, good defense pair if they will be playing together to start off as group. And yeah, agree with everything you said there.
Mm-hmm. And then for the final team is Seattle. We have Hedman, who is also known as Torv, the owner. And then we have Fedorov 91. I apologize. The list I ended up getting did not list their AGM. I'm not sure if they have one or apologies for coughing. But if anybody knows in chat, feel free to let us know and we'll end up mentioning them. But I mean, Seattle, no matter, I know they had a lot last season. They had like new ownership and everything, so I expect the Seattle Kraken to do a lot better this season. No shade to the previous owners. It's just whenever you're new, you have growing pains. So I'm excited to see what Torv, aka Hedman, can end up doing with the Kraken this season.
Yeah, the last time. Sorry.
I'm sorry. It looks like Joe is the AGM, or Gilby. I'm sorry.
Gilby, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say that I believe the last time Seattle made the playoffs, unless I'm blanking on something, was back in season 5, just about. So kind of a lengthy streak these guys will be looking to snap here. And yeah, glad to hear Gilby's on their as their AGM. He's a fun guy, good player.
Definitely. So that wraps up our management review. I apologize to the people that were immediately wanting the lottery, but scouting is still going on, and with the draft right around the corner on the 30th, Sunday night at I believe 9:30 Eastern is the time that was posted. We wanted to make sure that everybody in scouting and everybody that tuned in got to know as much as they could about the management teams that are going to be leading us into season 12. So that helps everybody in the league get a little bit of information of maybe who they want to scout with, where they want to scout. So without further ado, we will move into the lottery. I definitely appreciate everybody's patience in the chat. So here we end up going. We do have
the moment everybody's been waiting for. Sorry if I got a little wordy on the team descriptions, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we were just wanting to make sure that any new players, any players that had been around for a little bit and didn't know the lay of the land exactly, we wanted to give them as much of a roadmap as we could. And it's also fun to say like nice things about people, and I know they enjoy it too. So, and here we go. So we do have 24 teams. As you can see, everybody has an even slice of the pie. I don't want to hear it, Frisch. Wherever New York lands, that's where you land, buddy.
Apologies for that if it was picked up on my mic. Just had something blasting on my phone.
Oh, no, you're good. We didn't hear anything. All right. And this will be, should be reverse order. So, yes, it will be. So the very first team off the board will end up being draft position 24 in the first round, and then we will work our way all the way up to the number 1 spot. So the last team on the wheel will have the number 1 overall spot. And for anybody that isn't aware, the way we end up doing the drafts is a snake draft. So if you have the first pick in the first round, you have the last pick in the second round. So being first is not always the best. So good luck to everybody. And let's see where everybody ends up falling. And we have Calgary. Calgary will have the 24th pick. And like I said, that does mean they get back-to-back picks. Even though they are the last pick in the first round, they will be the first pick in the second round. So congratulations to Calgary. I know a lot of people prefer to end up being towards the end of the draft. So hopefully that's the way that they end up feeling about it.
Yeah, Zeramone, Psycho, and Kiono are the group for Calgary here, as we went over a little bit earlier. And I think they're going to be pretty satisfied with having 2 straight picks. They will probably be able to build a decent, maybe D pair to start off.
Oh, definitely. That's going to be scary, man. I'm excited to see what they end up doing. And here we go with the next selection. The 23 spot is going to be Toronto. So congratulations to Bobette. You're going to end up having the 23rd pick in the first round.
Yep, wonder if those guys have any LG imports hidden away that they can snag that late in the first round.
Knowing Bobby, I'm sure he does. He probably knows all the people. Ooh. And we got Buffalo. JT and Metavis are going to have the 22nd pick. Our reigning Season 11 Stanley Cup champions are going to be picking at spot number 22.
Interesting that Buffalo and Toronto are next to each other there. I wonder if they're going to be battling for maybe a couple of similar players around the same spots.
That's definitely one thing to take into consideration as well, is knowing the teams around you, their management composition, and maybe the teams or players that they may go for. And we have San Jose going at pick number 21. So that looks like Dub. Dub Veer, pick 21.
Yeah. Sorry. Wonder if John is going to be reconstructing his line with Monster and friends from past seasons.
And we have Seattle Kraken. They will select pick number 20. Why am I not seeing them? I'm just blind, aren't I?
Doesn't look like they are there.
What is going on here? Yeah, they're not. Okay. Well, all right. Well, for their placeholder, we will go with Vancouver. Because I know we don't have a Vancouver team. All right. Apologies. I have no idea why the Kraken are not in this. So we'll end up figuring that out. Ferret Games alt, I'm going to assume, is Casey. Thank you for the follow, Casey. All right. Now time to see who ends up getting pick 19. And we have Florida with pick 19.
I don't know, Lions. Another Atlantic team in that bottom lower end of the first round. It's going to be some solid depth on those Atlantic teams that already are looking scary off the rip with their management groups.
Yeah, I even tried. I was worried about just putting in the divisions all together. So what I did is I just went down the list. I took the first one from each division, typed them all in, and then went down number 2. So I did alternating divisions for all the inputs. It just seems like that's how this is going to work out. Oh, yeah, Florida, right? Was the last one we just did?
Right.
Okay, yeah. Just making sure. And for pick 18, we have Detroit.
And what do you know? Another Atlantic team.
This is crazy.
This
I swear.
Fabry, Super Mario, and Rocky Dangles. Wow, look at that.
I swear, I went through, like, you can end up seeing, like, if you go back at the stream, I alternated, like, each input from each division. It's just crazy how that's working out.
Yeah, 4 of the first 7. Wild.
Ooh. And looks like Moosey's going to be picking at 17.
If I'm management, I want to sneak a peek at Moosey's draft board.
Oh,
Steal
yeah.
someone off there.
No, especially with them winning the President's Cup last season.
Right.
And Montreal picking at 16.
And now just one Atlantic team remains.
Absolutely rough. Well, I mean, well, not rough. I guess it's good, depending on what end you prefer to pick.
Yeah, these are all teams that can definitely handle going later in the draft. It's just an interesting pattern.
Oh, Carolina barely ekes in for pick 15.
So as we're going down the list here, Lions, where would you prefer to be if you're doing management this season? What's your philosophy on it?
Either, if I'm picking, I'd rather be in the middle, like around, like 10 to 14, or I'd want to be first or last. You know what I mean? Because if you're in the middle, your picks are evenly spaced, but those back-to-back picks are just so strong to have. I was about to say, are there no Ducks? And we have Anaheim going at pick 14.
So,
Oh, Arizona just barely eking past Dallas there. So we have Arizona picking at spot 13. Ooh. And now we have Colorado. So Griff will end up picking 12. Pretty much right there in the middle. All
yeah,
right.
I'm going to have to agree with you again, I think, with wanting to be in the middle there, referring back to what we were talking about before. It's nice having it evenly spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
Not for any rational reason, just having an even amount of time between picks.
I can also see it being a bit more stressful because you have to pay a lot more attention since you have less time between your picks, being right there in the middle.
It's also true.
We have LA Kings. They will be picking 11th. And we have New York Rangers. They will be picking 10th. I told old Frisch that I would be putting a poll out for the worst draft position, and I'm just gonna lie and say everybody said 10th pick was the worst. So there you go, Frisch. That's what you get. We have Chicago with pick number 9. I believe that's Stur's team, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Is it too late to call the last Atlantic team going first overall?
Well, the way the draft broke out, it's probably not too late.
All the Atlantic teams are either going to be picking way late or way early.
They're going to be fighting each other. That's going to be brutal. And Pittsburgh with the 8th pick. Oh, Dallas keeps moving up by the skin of their teeth. Edmonton is getting the 7th pick.
As we get down to the last couple of picks here, you guys have any ideas in mind for who could be the first pick coming up in this draft? Any names to throw out?
You can't. What was it? Biz ended up going off with the Wild.
Yeah.
He was the first pick last season. And then you've got the Conn Smythe winner from last season as well, which would be Mango, who's not part of management. So I think those probably maybe two of the front runners. Oh, I got to say Sweats also. I got to say Sweats just because that's a thing. Tampa Bay.
Sweats is always moving up in the order.
You know, there's quite a few guys that could be going first overall here. You know, like there's obviously Mango, Biz, Achilles Strife is back in the league.
Oh.
Bomb's hurt, Clumsy. You could have people trying to go early for D-Man. You know, Mashley's back in the league. He's been unbanned. Another sleeper would be Gingy. Played really solid for, I believe it was Ontario, for LG when they went on the cup run. And then with the lack of D in the draft, you know, D could be very important to get early.
And Dallas is going to be picking 4. Their pushed up to first pick is over. All right, we got Washington, Columbus, and Philadelphia. Still, we'll find out how they end up shaking out for the top 3 picks. We have Washington. They're going to be picking 3rd. What am I doing? There we go. All right. Now we will find out who picks 2nd and who will pick 1st between Columbus Blue Jackets and the Philadelphia Flyers. Congratulations to Columbus. You are going to have the first pick. I almost forgot who it was that got the 2nd pick. That's so crazy they don't have the Kraken in there. That's just crazy to me. All right, to recap, just so everybody knows, Seattle is pick 20. I had to use Vancouver as a placeholder because for some reason they have every icon except for the Kraken. All right, so Calgary at 24, Toronto 23, Buffalo 22, San Jose 21, Vancouver 20, Florida 19, Detroit 18, Winnipeg 17, Canadiens 16, Carolina 15, Ducks 14, Coyotes 13, Avalanche 12, Kings 11, Rangers at 10, Blackhawks 9, Penguins 8, Oilers 7, Lightning 6, Minnesota 5, Dallas 4, Washington at 3, Philadelphia at 2, and your winners or loser, depending on how you view the draft position, is Columbus. Well, do you guys have any final thoughts on who you think may have benefited the most out of their draft position?
Kind of referred to it a little bit earlier. Just think that some of those Atlantic teams that have a winning pedigree to them are going to do very well with having later picks. They're going to have some hidden gems to pick or maybe fight over amongst themselves.
I think probably the range 5 to 12 going to be really interesting to see, because if you have any of those top 5 guys missing, or somebody misses on one of those top 5 picks, they fall to them, and then they are in a great spot. You also have these guys at the end of the first round where they're going to be making 2 picks pretty quick, back to back even. And if somebody falls almost out of the first round, they can be snagged up then, and then their whole team is going to be gross.
I completely agree. I'm definitely excited to see how this draft ends up working out, and we're gonna much like last season where we ended up having like all the player stats Harry and Gaines, I believe, came up with the idea, and they ended up going through and they pulled all the stats for players both in that 6HL. They pulled up their 6HL stats. If they're an LG, they had those as well. And they also pulled their EASHL stats. So if you played anywhere, they were able to find your stats, and they had them all input into the player sheet that all the owners end up using to draft. And we will end up having that again. So we'll be able to see like whoever gets taken first will be able to end up like pulling up their career stats. They might be a little blank since we're now in 23. We'll end up seeing if they end up pulling previous season stats and whatnot. But that's definitely something exciting and was something that was really awesome that Harry and Gaines ended up doing for us last season. So I'm excited to be able to do that again.
Yeah, and just a quick reminder, if you want to throw out there when the draft is happening, what time?
Yeah, it's October 30th, which is the Sunday before Halloween, and I believe they posted the time at 9:30 Eastern is the time I believe they posted. I can double check that real quick. So here we go. All right,
So,
let me get to
9:30 Eastern on Sunday
Uh-huh.
is when we're gonna see former Conn Smythe winner
Mango going
Mango
first.
go first overall. You know, Columbus has a really good decor with a good goalie, and they need an offensive stud like Mango to probably jumpstart their offense. I don't think he's gonna fall very far if he doesn't go first overall.
Yeah, you can't really pass up a Conn Smythe winner.
Yeah, it's almost like a perfect situation for them, honestly.
Yeah, either that or Sweats, or I mean, AHL top tier center, the OP Squid.
Or
Either option there.
Memorial Cup LGCHL leading goal scorer, point scorer, Comrade Borker, Selke winner, All Star.
I'm a defenseman. Okay. Any other notes from you guys?
I don't think so. I'm just really excited for this to end up getting underway. And that just so everybody knows, the sign-up deadline. Okay, if you end up signing up on time, you become draft eligible, and you receive the ability to have a trade request. And then what that means is, as long as you sign up by the October 27th before midnight, if your sign up ends up saying the 28th, that's a late sign up, and you will not be draft eligible, and you will end up being in the RA pool. Which also means if you sign up late, you will not have a trade request available to you. So wherever you get drafted to in the RA draft or assigned to, that's going to be your team unless management feels like they can end up moving you. So it's very important to sign up before the 28th. So just want to remind everybody of that too. So we have the draft on the 30th, and the sign up deadline is the October 27th, 11:59 p.m. So make sure you tell your friends. Make sure if you're going to sign up, you do it before then if you want to have a trade request available to you and to be draft eligible. So, do we have any final thoughts, Borker?
I think you said everything needed to be said. Just excited to see where you guys go in the draft. Where in the top half of the first round, approximately,
Yeah, my draft position has been between 7 and 12, so I'm fine with that.
7 and 12 overall.
Oh yeah, overall. All right. Any thoughts from you, Mr. Squid? I know you're a little under the weather. Hopefully, you're starting to feel a little better with those meds kicking in.
Oh yeah, just a little bit of everything. Actually being able to talk now is a little bit better. but just excited. I really wonder who's going to go first, and then I think you know uh, Philadelphia with their management wanting to run it back this season. Getting the second overall pick's always really nice. So I think they could build a really strong team there too.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to let people know what you have in the works, Squid?
Yes, I'm actually getting ready to maybe put out tonight or tomorrow a community poll for each position in the draft, probably a top 10 ranking. Hopefully that will go out in the announcements either tonight or tomorrow. So we can have the community vote on who they think the top 10 players are at each position. Kind of get the owners a little bit more info on who's out there and what they can expect at the draft.
I think that'll be pretty cool, man. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us tonight. Again, our new additions to the media team, familiar faces and voices that you can look forward to seeing on, if not every broadcast, then as many as they can end up making time for in their schedule, is, like I said, the OP Squid and Commander Borker, or Comrade Borker. It's got me all mixed up seeing the two different names. So it's Comrade Borker and OP Squid. I'm so glad to have you guys on the media team with me. You guys make it so much better and so much easier on me.
Thanks for having us. I know Comrade spends a lot of time cleaning out his trophy case because of how many he has. So it's always nice to see him make time for us.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thanks for having us. Good luck to you guys in the draft. Thanks to everybody for coming in, listening to us, and checking out the draft reveal. And good luck to everyone listening as well, seeing where you go in the draft.
All righty. Well, that's going to wrap it up from us. I will, here in a moment, I will have draft position posted in media news. Like Squid said, you can also end up checking that for his poll that he'll end up being putting out either tonight or tomorrow. So I want to thank everybody that tuned in and all the mods that ended up modding the chat. I look forward to seeing you guys Sunday night for the Season 12 draft. It should be an exciting time. Hope everybody has a great night.
You too, buddy.
Making me feel brand new. You're more than a sunshine.